This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. Hey guys, Big Paul here today with another check-in. This is week 10 of the off-season for 2022. I'm going to apologize in advance. I've had issues with my video recording with my stupid software and camera that I can't get straightened out for whatever reason. So the video portion of this did not show up. I'm going to be looking for a new piece of software to do screen recordings with. Also, I did not do a check-in last week, guys. I was still sick with pneumonia. I was 100%, so there was really nothing to report back in the gym this week. We're going to dig into all that in just 1 second. All right, so yeah, I was sick still a little bit. Like, my lungs were just a mess. The doctor did tell me it would take up to a month to get better from the pneumonia. Man, most of my clients, or not most, but a lot of my clients have had the flu. I've had a couple that have had pneumonia. I've had some that have had some really nasty respiratory infections. There's been some shit going around. A lot of people have been sick with the flu, it seems like. But anyway, I basically was pretty much down for 3 weeks. I trained a little bit. Nothing crazy. This definitely fucked up my off season, but whatever. I think all in all, I've held up pretty well. I've tried to keep the diet together for the most part. I had people ask me what I do for food when I'm sick, and you just run the low days. Like when I was super sick, the week that I first had pneumonia, I wasn't getting all my meals in. I just didn't feel like eating. I was sleeping a bunch. And I figured sleep was more important than getting my meals in at that point in time. So I just got to sleep in. But when I'm not lifting, I just do low days. So I'm probably a bit in a calorie deficit. Weight has stayed the same. 262 is my fasted weight, which is down from my high. Before I got sick, I was up to 273 for a fasted weight. So and my daytime weight's 269. I was up to 282. So I've dropped like 10, 12 pounds down from my high weight before I got sick, which is frustrating. Although I feel like you'll see it in a second when you look at my pictures, I feel like I've leaned up. I haven't lost any strength. I am in the gym and I'm still pushing the same weights I was pushing before. People ask me all the time how tall I am. I'm 6'2". Blood pressure has been nice and low. Probably from cutting the food back and dropping some water, to be honest with you. It was probably a productive thing. So 115 over 75. I was using X-Forge, so I just kind of went back to the telmisartan X-Forge, just sort of when I break out when the blood pressure gets way too high, or like pushing gear and stuff. It has a calcium channel blocker in it, and on top of the ARB, but I just went back to telmisartan since it's just the ARB. Fasted glucose is 96. People are always telling me, why isn't it lower? I'm like, everybody in my family is diabetic that's over 40, pretty much. I don't know. I mean, 90, mine just doesn't get any lower than the 90s. I've been checking my glucose levels off and on since I was in my 30s. 10, 15 years, and they just have always run in the 90s. That's about as low as I can get them for fasted glucose. Health, I am recovering from the flu and pneumonia. You can hear now I'm congested, but that's just how I am in the fall. It's pretty much I'm congested from October until Christmas every fucking year. I just have horrible allergies and shit. But I feel like the pneumonia, for the most part, is cleared up. I still have a little bit of congestion in my lungs, nothing crazy. But I finally, the last few workouts, I'm finally feeling back to normal. You can see the progress pics here. It's hard to see through the pelt of fur that I have on what I actually look at like, but I'm pretty lean right now. I don't know where my body fat's at. I hate playing the body fat guessing game. People all the time sending me their fucking pics and asking me what body fat I'm at. And I'm like, what does it matter? It's just a number. How you look in the mirror is what matters. Nobody cares if you're 10% body fat and you look like shit. So it's how you look in the mirror. I don't know. If I were to guess, I'm probably in the 10 to 12% range. Maybe higher. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, my rule of thumb for the off season is if I can see the outline of my abs and some splits in my quads, I'm in a good spot. But if I lose those, then I'm probably getting too fat. If I can't see the outline of my abs, I'm getting too fat. But you can see my abs. They aren't like contest shape, but you can definitely see my abs. I've maintained my fullness pretty well despite losing the weight. So I don't know. You can see here from the side, you could still see some cuts in my glutes over here, like some separation. I wouldn't say cuts; it's not really striations, but all in all, I've maintained pretty decent leanness. Diet, actually, there is some slight changes this week, so that the no changes thing is wrong. But Justin did bump my low day carbs up a tad. And bump my protein up a tad. So I'm 60 grams of protein per meal and 60 grams of carbs. So 360 grams of protein, 360 grams of carbs, and 84 grams of added fat on my low days. Medium day, nothing's changed there. I am doing 75 on my regular meals of carbs, 55 grams of protein. So the total macros for the day, when we look at it, it's 340 grams of protein, 600 grams of carbs, 40 grams of added fat. A lot of them, and I do the same for my clients. A lot of people ask me, why doesn't he just give you a prescribed diet? It is sort of an if it fits your macros diet within reason. There's a approved foods list that you choose from, and it's really all clean foods. Sometimes when I get in a pinch, I'll substitute something out, like, I'll find like a fast food or gas station food that closely approximates my macros if I'm on the road. When I'm in the off season, it doesn't matter as much. When I'm on contest prep, everything is down to the exact gram. I don't deviate at all. But in the off season, I give myself a little more leeway. I'd say I'm 90 to 95% compliant with the diet. There's sometimes I get off track with it in the off season. I'm not as meticulous with it as I am just being transparent during the contest prep phase. But I get my meals in, and I try to. I'm actually the opposite. Like, some people fucking cheat and whatnot. But the thing I struggle with is getting all my food down. Sometimes it's not an issue with me of eating too much. It's an issue with me of not eating enough. That's what I have a problem with. I just have a hard time with my appetite. When I was younger, I had a pretty good appetite, but as I've gotten older, I just don't want to fucking eat. I get tired of it sometimes. High day, I'm doing two. Actually, I did 3 high days last week, and I didn't gain a fucking pound, which is crazy to me. So the high days are 1,000 grams of carbs, 290 grams of protein, and 0 added fat. There's an optional cheat meal at meal 6. Sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't. Usually, if I do take it, pretty much my go-to cheat meal is a double Whopper. I'll just get a double Whopper, and that's it. Double Whopper, I just get it plain with cheese on it, nothing else on it. I don't like all the mayonnaise and all that bullshit. So that'll be my cheat meal. It's like 1,000 calories, I think, in a double Whopper, something like that. That's sort of been my go-to cheat meal. Sometimes I'll get kebabs and rice. Sometimes I'll go to have a Texas Roadhouse right by me. I'll go there and get a steak and a potato. Maybe eat one of those rolls they have that are really good. Anyway, so current PEDs, 500 milligrams of test, 300 milligrams of EQ, 400 Primo, 8 units of generic blue top HGH every day, 80 milligrams of telmisartan. I switched back to the telmisartan from the X-Forge. I didn't feel like I didn't need it anymore. Human log on the high days, and then 25 units of Lantus pre-bed every day. People ask me about the Lantus. The Lantus is more of a prophylactic. Here's the thing: as you get older, this is just my theory. I don't have any evidence of this other than just anecdotal information I've seen from clients. A lot of times, as guys get over 40, the reason why a lot of them don't gain weight is because they just don't seem to make enough insulin or have the right insulin sensitivity to uptake nutrients properly. So Older guys, I don't know if they like. I don't know if my body makes enough insulin to keep up with eating 1,000 grams of carbs. So I have to supplement in some insulin to deal with that. So the insulin is so I can eat more food and process that food correctly. I think people miss the point of taking the insulin. And it's the same thing, so I supplement insulin because it take pressure off my body from making its own to keep up with it, sort of supercharge things and maintain my insulin sensitivity through things like berberine and metformin to keep that high. So if you're pumping in exogenous insulin, you're going to be blunting insulin sensitivity. So you have to sort of balance the two out. Same thing with HGH, it's going to blunt insulin sensitivity. Current health supplements for glucose management, I am using 1,500 milligrams of berberine per day. I use suppressor from First Detachment Nutrition. It is berberine, but it also has the fenugreek in it, if I recall correctly, to help with actually absorbing the berberine. Because don't quote me on all this, but from what I recall, berberine is not that bioavailable through oral administration. So you need the fenugreek to help with that. If you want to pick some up from First Detachment Nutrition, it's a great product. Discount code is in the video description. It's AB10. For general health, I use a whole food multivitamin, vitamin C, 5,000 units of vitamin D. Just back it up a second on the suppressor. People ask me how I break up the berberine too. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but this is how I do it. My thought process is that berberine's in and out of your system pretty quick, but I'll take 500 milligrams with meal 1, 500 milligrams with meal 2, or meal 3, and then meal 6 I'll do. So it doesn't break down exactly because I think 7 pills, if I recall correctly, is the serving size for the suppressor. So I'll do, let's see, 3 in the morning at meal 1, then 2 at meal 3, and 2 at meal 5. Cardiovascular health, I am taking 3,000 milligrams of fish oil, CoQ10. I don't remember the dose on it. I just take 1 pill, whatever that works out to be. I think it's 500 milligrams of niacin, 2,000 milligrams of citrus bergamot, and a baby aspirin every day. For liver health, I take Tucca, milk thistle, and NAC. That gets your liver enzymes in line. Everybody who takes PEDs and lifts weights has high liver enzymes. Everybody. Every single blood panel I look at, ALT and AST is elevated. And this is the only thing I have ever used that gets me back down into normal ranges, and I've seen it with my clients too. I use QRF from First Detachment Nutrition that has the Tucca, milk thistle, and NAC all in 1 pill, so you don't have to buy 3 bottles of shit to get the one thing. It works really well. I've had good luck with it so far. So save you some money and get all 3 in 1 pill. For the kidney support, I use astragalus and some other stuff. I use Renal Assist from First Detachment Nutrition to cover that. Prescription meds, I'm currently on, I was using 1,500 milligrams of metformin per day. I backed that off to 1,000 because my appetite was shitty. That is one cool thing with, well, cool and not cool thing with metformin. It will suppress your appetite. So if you're in a dieting phase, metformin can really be a strong appetite suppressant. In the off season, it kind of sucks because you want to get food down. So I backed it back down to 1,000. From the 1,500 milligrams, which seemed to get my appetite going again. I dropped the X-Fords as I mentioned. I am using lisinopril again, 80 milligrams per day. And I take pantoprazole for acid reflux. I get all these assholes that reach out to me and say, you shouldn't take that stuff. It's horrible for you. I have seen 2 people, not 1, 2 people die from esophageal cancer from acid reflux. I promise you, nothing that the pantoprazole is going to do to you is worse than having fucking esophageal cancer. You roll the dice with the pantoprazole. Almost everybody that bodybuilds and has been power shoving food for any period of time ends up with some form of acid reflux. My acid reflux is caused by a hiatal hernia, which I probably should get fixed at some point. That's another thing that a lot of gym bros have and don't realize they have. It's where if I recall correctly, there's a small tendon or ligament, I think, that attaches your stomach to the diaphragm. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I believe that's how it works. And that a lot of times gets broken from doing deadlifts and squats and lifting heavy shit. And then what happens is your stomach just sort of sloshes around, and you'll burp it up into your esophagus. You'll feel it. Feels like you're hiccuping your stomach up into your throat. And that's from the hiatal hernia. And a lot of dudes that lift weights have hiatal hernias and don't realize they have them. So if you're having that issue, you probably have a hiatal hernia. The pantoprazole helps. It's a proton pump inhibitor, and it lowers acid in the stomach, so you're not sloshing acid up into your esophagus and burning a hole in your esophagus, which eventually turns into cancer, or can turn into cancer. So that's how we treat it. Training, I'm still sort of ramping up. I tried to ramp up a little bit, but then I stopped because I wasn't 100%. So I'm probably at somewhere between minimum effective volume and maximum recoverable volume right now. So somewhere in between the two. Plans and thoughts. Like I said, I didn't get all my food in when I was sick. I did run through the 3 consecutive high days. I was supposed to escalate my PED doses at week 8. I did not do that because I was sick. Guys asked me, hey, why didn't you drop your doses while you were sick to give your body a break? Well, when you're taking equipoise and enanthate esters and things like that, it's going to be weeks before that has any effect of lowering. Equipoise is going to take weeks. So there's no point. And not to mention, I think it can even wreck your immune system even more if you lower your hormones or fuck with your hormones while you're sick. So my thought process is leave everything alone unless there's some medical need to lower things. Justin just told me I said coach's feedback now, but really he just told me to eat. He wants to get me back up in the 270s. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. For coaching or consultations, head over to www.anabolicbodybuilding.com to book your spot today. I can help you with optimizing hormones, fat loss, muscle gain, physique, athletic performance, nutrition, and health. For more information, shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com.